Hi, I'm Bob Hood and welcome to America 10 Miles at a Time. In March through June of 2019, as part of a 3-country-ride for breast cancer research, I undertook a bicycle ride from Tijuana, Mexico to St. Stephen's, Canada, a ride of about 4,200 miles. That also took us from California to Maine. Starting in mid-Arizona, we started taking 30-second panoramic videos with commentary every 10 miles. This is a compilation of those videos. I hope you enjoy them. Okay, I'm about 10 miles east of Casa Grande, standing on the eastbound side of the Selma Highway. I'm trying to do these about every 10 miles to give you a sense of what it's like. Thought these panoramas might be better than pictures. There's my bike, and that's about it. Talk to you in another 10 miles. Hey everyone. About 20 miles outside of Casa Grande, kind of south east of it now. It uses farm road systems, so east and west and north and south. So I had to come far east, and now I'm heading south. I'm on southbound Highway 85, Arizona Highway 85, and that's about it. Talk to you in another 10 miles. All right, about 30 miles outside of Casa Grande, about 40 miles to go to Tucson. Last interchange, they're doing highway work, so bicycles weren't allowed on the interstate here. So on this frontage road, not much traffic, but it's kind of rough. So just headed to Tucson. It's further that way. So I'll check in again another 10 miles. Okay, 40 miles east of Casa Grande, about 30 miles to Tucson. Still on the frontage road here, although now I'm on the south frontage road. Yeah, just pretty steady riding. I can see the vegetation changing a little. Can't see it right now, but there's a ridge of mountains right over there. Looks like it has a little snow on it. Might be just the color of the rocks. But anyway, talk to you in another 10 miles. All right, I'm just outside of Marinara, Arizona. Again, that's about 50 miles from Casa Grande, about 20 miles to Tucson. Definitely see a shift in the vegetation, a lot greener. High Chaparral, we're about 2,000 feet now, up from below sea level in El Centro. So anyway, talk to you in 10 miles. About 10 miles out from where we're staying in Tucson. Definitely feels like the suburbs here. We had our first flat since leaving just a ways back, had to repair that. Should be bike path all the way from here to the hotel. It looks like Tucson has a pretty extensive bike route system. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll report again tomorrow. Okay, about 10 miles out from where we stayed in Tucson. Of course, Tucson's a big city. I'm kind of on the north eastern corner of it now. There's the bike. Yeah, just these bike paths are great. They just go all along the river and just keep going. I'll be taking them all the way to the southeast side of the city. So talk to you in another 10 miles. About 20 miles out now. I've finally, looks like I'm outside of the city. As you can see, a lot of desert shrubbery around here. But this bike trail is still holding strong, really nice. So there's the bike. And that's about it for this one. Talk to you in 10. Okay, about 30 miles out, about 26 to go to Benson. I'm amazed how many suburbs I keep hitting, but I think this is the end of it. There's a sign there that no services for 18 miles. So just still increasing in altitude slowly, about another 1,000 feet of climb to do. And that's it. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 42 miles from Tucson now, about 14 miles to go to Benson. As you can probably hear, it's got a really nice backwind, really helped with the speed to here. Humidity really low, around 10%, just going through all sorts of water. Anyway, that's all for now. Talk to you in another 10. So about 51 miles out of Tucson now, just about, I don't know, 6 miles out of Benson, so getting pretty close. It's just chaparral over here, big hedge. So anyway, that's all till the 8 o'clock update. Okay, later. All right, about 10 miles east of Benson now. Still pretty much the whole route from Benson to Wilcox is on the interstate. This is actually pretty busy interstate today. Still pretty deserty. So man, it was Benson was a great interview this morning. So El Paso, we should be there in about a week. There's the bike. Yeah, Benson, they really love their town. They're building 28,000 new homes there, so it's supposed to grow quite a bit in the next 10 years. Anyway, that's all for now. Talk to you in 10 miles. This is Texas Canyon rest stop. Really pretty area. I think this is just near the crest going down into the canyon. Looks like a newer rest area. And there you have the canyon area. Interesting rock formations. Anyway, that's it. Okay, about 19 miles east of Benson, about midway to Wilcox right now. We just went over the ridge going down into the Texas Canyon. Those are the hills we came over. Right over there, real nice truck stop, fairly new. We're at this exhibit in Arizona called The Thing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because I remember that being here when I used to travel this highway with my parents back in the 60s and 70s. That's probably before the interstate was still US 80. It was just a small little shack that had this unusual object inside it. I hear they've kind of replaced it out with something else more impressive now. But obviously they've built it up into quite a thing right now. It's if you look at it, it's quite a large building now. Yeah, they added a Dairy Queen and gas station and everything. It was really a hole in the wall before. Anyway, nice little memory there. So that's it. Talk to you in another 10. All right, about 30 miles outside of Benson now. Only about 7 miles left to Wilcox. Pretty flat valley here. Have some cattle over here, if you can see them. They kind of saw me. They thought I might be some food or something. Started walking over here, but now they're losing interest. So, yeah, the grade coming over that pass, there's some pretty good steep runs, but just geared down and maintained forward motion. If you do that, you'll get to where you're going. Probably good advice for life as well as biking. Anyway, that's it for today. We'll do our 8 p.m. Evening wrap-up. Talk to you then. All right, about 11 miles east of Wilcox now. I don't know if you can tell, but way in the distance over there is a mountain with snow on the tip. It's much cooler up here now. We're about at 4,200 feet. It's probably in the mid-60s right now compared to the mid-80s we were having yesterday when we were down in the valley in Benson. So that's it. Talk to you in another 10. All right, about 20 miles east of Wilcox now. About 55 miles to go to Deming. There's that mountain again, if you can see it, with snow on the cap. Been lucky with tailwind the last 2 days, but today it's getting back at me. I'm facing most of a headwind, about 5 to 15 miles an hour, depending on where I am. Roads here kind of rough. It's like they had a work order to refinish it, and then they lost the work order. So anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles east of Wilcox, about 45 miles to go to Lordsburg. Just getting back on the freeway from passing through Bodie, Arizona. Kind of got off and drove through the old US 80 that went through the center of town. So that's it, pretty flat out here. So talk to you in another 10. All right, about 40 miles from Wilcox now, about 35 miles to go to Lordsburg, about another 15 miles to the New Mexico border. And this headwind is really taken out of me, just constant. Up against it, it's cool, it's calmed down for a bit right now, but it kind of comes and goes. Anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about 50 miles east of Williams now, about 25 miles to go to Lordsburg. I say about because neither Strava nor Google will let me go into New Mexico on the interstate on a bike. It keeps flipping me around to other directions, even going all the way back and taking bizarre routes. So I'm just going off what the traffic signs are saying in general. We just passed up San Simon, about 10 miles back. That town actually was a little more depressing than even Bowie. Not a single business survived in the main route except for one truck stop near the interstate. So anyway, that's it for now. In another 10 miles. All right, about 60 miles east of Wilcox, about 16 miles to go to Lordsburg. Went over a mountain ridge. Now it's mostly flat there. Kind of looks like an old dried up lake bed here. So anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, 69 miles east of Wilcox, about 7 miles to go into Lordsburg. Sun's getting low, just barely gonna make it in time. See, that was a long stretch of flat highway back there. I've been doing this around 600 miles an hour, and I don't think I've seen one biker even going the other way. I know it's late in the season, but I'd expect to see that. Guess there's a few of us going over the desert this time of year. Anyway, that's all for today. Nothing tomorrow, no ride tomorrow, so I'll do these again on Monday. Bye. All right, about 10 miles east of Lordsburg now. The wind is just a constant 15 miles an hour, largely from the southeast. Although there's eddies and stuff, it kind of moves around as you go down the highway. Started out cold, 37 degrees, and riding a bike into it, it just about froze me. Been taking it really slow, doing about 8 or 10 miles an hour is about all I can get on the bike in this headwind. So anyway, talk to you in 10. I'm about 22 miles outside of Lordsburg now. A little less than 40 miles to go to Deming. This is one of the exits. There were signs for this place for miles, so I thought I'd wait till we got here. So, little Continental Divide spot. Fewer people here than I thought they'd be for all the signs they had out. But anyway, it's been a headwind and uphill grind, but since I'm at the Continental Divide, hoping I'll have some downhill now. So, talk to you in 10. Okay, we're about 31 miles east of Lordsburg now. The last place kind of fibbed a little. The Continental Divide was still about 9 miles down the road, but we're here now. So, as you can see, very flat, kind of stark, deserty, low sagebrush. So we're at 4,585 feet. So I guess that means we came up 4,605 feet since we're 20 feet below sea level in El Centro. This may be the high point of the journey, but we'll see. Talk to you in 10. Okay, 40 miles from Lordsburg, about 20 miles to Deming. It's downhill now, but it's 237 feet downhill and 30 miles, so almost imperceptible. But I'll take anything that I can get. The wind's lightened up, and I'm getting about 14 to 16 miles an hour now, but still having a little bit of a headwind. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 50 miles east of Lordsburg, about 12 miles to Deming. I don't know if you guys realize, but it seems like the vegetation changes pretty much every time I stop one of these 10-mile checks. It's pretty interesting. You'd think it'd be constant, or pretty much so. Anyway, I'll talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles east of Lordsburg, about 4 miles from Deming. So maybe you saw the sign at the beginning of this. I'm going to come around. So that's a little unusual, not something you see every day. Anyway, that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. All right, about 10 miles out of Deming, east of Deming, heading towards Las Cruces, about another 50 miles there. I just ate another bug. That's about the 4th one on the trip, which I guess isn't too bad. Just kind of flies in my mouth as I'm going down the road. Almost no wind. It's supposed to be windy today, but luckily from the southwest. So the roads are really nice here. Been doing about 18, 20 miles an hour on the roads. So talk to you in another 10. All right, just did the morning mingle. We're about 20 miles east of Deming, about 40 miles to go to Las Cruces. But I just wanted to keep up with this every 10 miles, so just doing a quick panorama now. All right, talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles outside of Deming. Shortly after my last video, the road, the side of the interstate just got thick with loose gravel. It got dangerous to ride on. So I just hopped the fence to the frontage road here. Frontage road veers off the interstate a little bit. I'm supposed to catch up with it again in about 7 miles. Interstate's about a half mile off to the right, to the left. So anyway, that's it for now. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 40 miles east of Deming. Got about 20 miles to Las Cruces. Don't know exactly because I'm gonna have to get off the freeway somewhere. and I don't know where that is, and there's also a big steep incline into Las Cruces. So should be fun. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles east of Deming. Las Cruces is about 10 to 15 miles away. The sign there back there says 7, but Google's telling me, there's my bike down there, 15. I'm not going to be, I got off the freeway because it was getting gravelly again, and these frontage roads are pretty good. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to stay on the freeway once I get in Las Cruces. So anyway, I'll talk to you in 10 or when I get there. Okay, we're about 59 miles east of Deming. Doing a little early here because this is a great shot into the Las Cruces Valley. So I'll do a little pan here. I'm at one of the rest areas that doubles as a scenic spot. You can kind of see my bike over there, left in distance. Doing some construction here. Somebody left their shoes. And it's kind of the high end of the high plateau here. So anyway, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, about 10 miles out of Las Cruces, heading towards El Paso. I'm on New Mexico Highway 28. This was the main highway between Las Cruces and El Paso before the interstate. There's my bike over there, just fell down, shoot. So anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about 20 miles outside of Las Cruces now. That's the road we're going to be following down. Again, we're on New Mexico 28. It's kind of windy today. So it's coming from the northwest, which helps me sometimes and loads me to the side sometimes. So a little irrigated patch of farmland there. And of course, the bike right here, holding it close because of the wind. So anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles outside of Las Cruces, about 30 to 40 to go. Don't know yet. The El Paso's route is looks a little treacherous, and we're going to check in at a bike shop and have them give us a good route through the city. Wind's really blowing hard here. Keeps picking up mini dust storms from like dirt roads like this over here. But anyway, just trucking along. Talk to you in 10. All right, we're about 40 miles out from Las Cruces now. As you can see, we're in the heart of El Paso in the city. We've got about 20 miles of this, and I actually stopped at the bike shop here, Wildcat Cyclery. They were going to try and give me a real quick, just check out everything on the bike, but they're kind of backed up, and we can't wait long enough for them to give it a look at. So we're going to head on south. They say El Paso is not bike friendly. That's putting it politely. So we're going to give it a try and head out. I'll talk to you in another 10. Okay, we're about 50 miles out of Las Cruces. Right now we're on the UTEP, University of Texas at El Paso campus. About still 12 miles or so to go for tonight's hotel. So that's about it. Talk to you in 10. All right, we're actually at 62 miles past Las Cruces, and we're at our hotel for the night. We're kind of pushing it because we had to pick someone up at the airport. So we're here kind of on the south side of El Paso now. So it's a long city. We had over 20 miles of city driving to getting here. The roads, the city as far as biking is horrible. I had to have the support van behind me almost all the way with lights flashing to keep people from hitting me. So anyway, that's all for tonight. Talk to you tomorrow. About 11 miles south of where we stayed in El Paso, I'm on Texas Highway 76. If you look over in the distance there, you can see the interstate. I don't know, maybe a mile away. So this is on the south side of El Paso now. We're starting getting out of the city. That way, probably about 2-3 miles is the Mexican border. And we're gonna be heading south for about another 40 miles and then we'll shoot off east. Talk to you in another 10. Okay, I'm about 20 miles south of El Paso now. This is Fabians, Texas. Small little town here, just a long way, just happens to be about at the 20-mile mark. So that's it. Talk to you in 10. All right, we're about 33 miles south of El Paso. Got about another 50 miles to go. We're just leaving El Paso County now. So, not sure which county we're going into. So, anyway, that's it. Talk to you in 10. About 41 miles south of El Paso now, so a little over halfway to Sierra Blanca. You can see the interstate way over there. If you see the water level here, that's part of the aqueduct. When I turn around again, you'll see it much lower. That valley on the far side, that's Mexico. We got like a little lake here. Not sure what that is. So that's it. Talk to you in 10. All right, we're about just short of 50 miles south of El Paso. Got about 30, a little less to until we get to Sierra Blanca. There's a Spot Link van pulling up now. So we're gonna have to make a decision here if we want to stay on the old highway, which goes up through the mountains, or go on the interstate. So catch back in 10 and I'll let you know. 60 miles south of El Paso. We headed east about 7 miles ago. So those mountains in the background there are Mexico. That's the last we'll see of Mexico. Last we'll see of a foreign country until about 3,500 miles when we go into Canada. Just saw my first other biker on the interstate going the other way. So that's it. Talk to you in 10. So, okay, 70 miles out of El Paso. Have less than 10 miles, I think, to Sierra Blanca. Just about. So I think this will probably be the last one for the day, unless it's more than 10 miles, but I don't think it is. There's the Spot Link support van. And that's it. Probably talk to you tomorrow. Bye. About 11 miles east of Sierra Blanca, about 20 miles to Van Horn. We're actually on the old US 80, which is the old highway. We have the interstate right next to us. This road's pretty good to ride on. I was told it has fully paved all the way to Van Horn. So we're just going to cruise on this today. Talk to you in 10. 20 miles east of Sierra Blanca. So just checking to the frontage road. It's pretty good so far. Mountains are very scenic in the background there. So about 13 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. Okay, about 29 miles east of Sierra Blanca. Kind of in a little pass here, but since I'm at the time zone change, I just thought I'd take a picture of this, make this the one. Have downhill all the way. I'm back on the freeway because there was no viable option, and there's some road work up ahead, so I think I'm gonna have to walk the bike for a mile or two to get around that. So anyway, I think that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Van Horn. Sheriff said we should have this. We're on old US 80. Sheriff said we should have this for about 17 miles, and then we'll have to get back on the interstate for the bulk of our ride to Balmorhea, which is about another 63 miles down the road. Talk to you in 10. We're about 20 miles outside, east of Van Horn now. That's the direction we're going. That crest is still the crest you saw in the other video 10 miles back. Probably we're about 13 miles from it. I think once we get up at that, it's going to be downhill most of the way to Balmorhea. Just kind of flat West Texas. Once we get over that hill, I think it's going to be downhill most of the way. We're going to drop about 1,000 feet until we get to Balmorhea. Anyway, talk to you in 10. Okay, about 30 miles, actually about 34, 35 miles east of Van Horn now. Have pretty much crested the mountains. It's mostly downhill, but with segments of uphill. So it's a good ride. It's cooling down a little bit. Cloud cover's coming in. And probably going to stop here and camp for a little lunch or snack. So anyway, talk to you in 10. About 42 miles east of Van Horn now. I've been on this side road for a few miles, but old Highway 80, but I'm probably gonna have to get on the interstate. This is a road that Strava wants me to take north of here. Obviously that's not real viable. It's dirt and it's gated, so just gonna have to get back on the interstate. Interstate is just off to my side here. See it in just a second. The interstates have been great here in Texas. Very wide, 10 feet, I'd say, shoulders, smooth, clean. Yeah, they've been really good, and I feel safe on them as long as somebody doesn't run off the road. Anyway, talk to you in 10. Okay, about 50 miles east of Van Horn. Everything I said about the interstate I take back. Oh, if you look way over there's a whole herd of cattle walking on the path. Anyway, about a quarter mile, I just passed the I-10, I-20 split. And just about a quarter mile before, the road went to crap. Lots of gravel on the side, and then there was a bridge just before the split that maybe had a 3-foot wide shoulder and a low guardrail. I was just kind of lucky I timed it when a truck didn't come through. That was probably one of my more scary moments. But anyway, I'm here now, about 21 or so to Balmorhea. Talk to you in 10. 60 miles east of Van Horn. I diverted to this farm road. It's a slightly better route, and also that interstate just went to crap. So this not much traffic, had about 4 cars in the last 10 miles. And getting overcast, a little windy, but good. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 70 miles from Van Horn. As you can see, it's about 4 miles to Balmorhea. Been on a farm road for, I don't know, the last 15 miles or so. Much better than the interstate, and it actually was a little more direct. And this is not something I expected to see. There's no really big towns around here, but a whole bunch of people in a very nice, big, and well-kept swimming pool. So anyway, that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. About 10 miles northeast of Balmorhea. Even though it doesn't look like it right at this spot, this is pretty much farming and ranching and oil territory now. So I should have frontage roads most of the way. Weather's nice right now, probably high 60s. Supposed to get up to, I think, low 80s today, but gonna get up to 90s during the week. Anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about a little over 19 miles out of Balmorhea now. So still kind of flat. Those are man-made hills that you see right there, at least in the foreground. They're doing some sort of strip mining or something. And just you can see an oil well over there. It's actually pumping. Yeah. And that's about it. Talk to you in 10. You actually see these all over the place, but this one's nice and close. I'm probably 150 feet, 200 feet from it, and I can, it seems I can feel the heat from it, although the sun's kind of in that direction too. Anyway, something unusual and something very Texas. Okay, about 30 miles northeast of Balmorhea. Still on Highway 17, we'll be all the way into Pecos. No wind right now. It's supposed to get 26 mile an hour winds with 50 mile an hour gust on Wednesday and up to 95 degrees. So that should be a fun day. Luckily, I think the wind will be at our back. Let's hope so. So that's about it. That's it for today. It's a short ride. Like I said, only 37 miles. I'll check in with you again tomorrow when we're on the road. Thanks. Bye. About 10 miles out of Pecos. I'm on a frontage road, but there's so much oil traffic out here. It just happens to be a lull right now, but it's almost as bad as the interstate sometimes. Big trucks, semis, as well as heavy-duty pickup trucks with all sorts of equipment on them. Not so sure this is safer than the interstate at this point, but heading onwards towards Monahans on this highway. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Pecos now, about midway to Monahans. SpotLink support van, they turned around the opposite way, so they wouldn't be on the wrong side of the road. Kind of tough to pull over on this side. Flat, getting warm, but not too bad yet. We're hoping to make it to Monahans before it gets to the 90s. It's supposed to get up to 97 today. So, anyway, talk to you in 10. Bye. About 32 miles east of Pecos. I think we have about 7-8 more miles to go. This road here is much better than the one that was right out of Pecos. Kind of split off and most of the trucks left then. But no shoulder here either. So support van's been right behind me, making sure big trucks don't hit me, which I very much appreciate. So anyway, I'm going to do the noon wrap up now, but I'll talk to you in 10. All right, we're about 41 miles east of Pecos in Monahans now. This is the event center. It's the SpotLink van, pretty much supporting me all day. So here's the territory around it. So right now we're looking east. The beginning we were looking west at the event center. This is right on the edge of the town, newly built. So this is where we're ending today and where we'll start out tomorrow morning. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Monahans. I'm on the service road here on the north side of the freeway. Generally flat, some larger sage trees around here. Lots and lots of oil activity as before. You can hear all the trucks on the road too. This is next to Interstate 20. So, all right, talk to you in 10. About 20 miles east of Monahans. Pretty much the same type territory. You can see lots of oil wells in the background. So we're still on the north side frontage road. Little road construction going on there. We're expecting a 35 mile an hour constant winds with 50 mile an hour gusts, but it hasn't really materialized. I've got about, 5-10 behind me. So anyway, talk to you in 10. Okay, I'm about 30 miles from Monahans. Stopped at this truck stop to kind of get a idea of maybe at lunch. Wind's really picking up, as you can probably hear. I was able to maintain like 25 to 30 miles an hour on flats. It seems like it's getting through. So anyway. about 40 miles east of Monahans. We're actually in a couple miles east of Odessa now, downtown Odessa. You can see the wind has really picked up there, which has really helped because I was able to maintain 25 to 35 miles an hour going down the road there. So it's kind of much junkyard here. On our way, but I think it's going to take a little while. Won't hold you up on it. So talk to you in 10. Hey, about 50 miles east of Monahans, about 10 miles east of Odessa. Right over there is the Midland Odessa International Airport and Spaceport. Just a sign I saw. I don't know what space activity they have. So this is a pretty nice corridor between Odessa and Midland. The road's really nice. I still have those really strong tailwinds, so I've been scooting along pretty good. So anyway, that's it for today. I only have 7 more miles, so I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Okay, bye. About 10 miles outside of Midland now. Finally getting just outside of the freeway. There's an obelisk over there. Not sure what that's about. Maybe someone can tell me someday. So we're still got some trucking and oil related stuff, but I think we're just about at the end of that. We're probably going to get back into rural Texas here soon, certainly within the next 10, and I'll talk to you then. About 20 miles east of Midland, we're just getting into the small town of Staten, about midway between Midland and Big Spring. You can see the Staten Co-op over there. Wind's been the big thing today. It was supposed to be coming from the west at 19, but it's consistently been coming from the north. So fairly significant crosswinds, making it a little difficult, but better than headwinds. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles east of Midland now. Definitely back in rural Texas. There's some sort of plowing or something going on over there. We're kind of in the middle of a little hill on the middle of a basin right now. Right next to a railroad track. You can see the highway down there. Of course, we're on a frontage road on the south side. Little lake, a reservoir over there. And train tracks all along here. And then my bike is, let me swoop down here. It's right down there. So that's it. Talk to you in 10. "40 miles east of Midland, now on the outskirts of western Big Spring. So again, just kind of flat around here. So airport's over here, kind of see it there. On some of the service road. There's some of the cargo areas, and that knoll you see right there, that was the same knoll you saw in the last one, about 10 miles back. So I've noticed I can see about 15 miles when I see a knoll, hill in the distance. Anyway, that's all for today. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Big Spring. The houses and businesses along these service roads have never really stopped. Definitely getting greener and hillier. As you can see there, we're still fighting crosswinds. So looks like from the southwest right now, we're going to be fighting those all day. So anyway, pretty much a straight shot to Sweetwater, just got about 66 or so miles. Talk to you in 10. Here was one of my more challenging aspects of the ride today. So back behind me there is Interstate 20. There is no roads going around that bridge. I don't really like taking interstate bridges. There are lots of semis going on them around here, and the guardrails are low. Kind of gets a little scary. And down there are railroad tracks. They have a lot of rail traffic around here too, so I kind of had the choice of riding the interstate across that or crossing the railroad tracks. In the end, I decided to cross the railroad tracks. I'm on this side of it now, so all good. Down there is the bike. Oh. And behind me here you can see the end of the frontage road, so it's not too far of a walk to just get to on the frontage road again. So anyway, just part of my day. Talk to you later. All right, about 21 miles out of Big Spring. I did a panorama on the noon update, so got a couple miles down the road from there. Getting greener and hillier, as I said. Clouds coming in. Wind is still a bit. Roads definitely, as the roads got bad when I got into Howard County, they got good when I got out of Howard County. So happy to have smooth roads again. Gives me about 3 miles an hour or more. Anyway, talk to you in 10. About 30 miles east of Big Spring now. On the south side frontage road now. Just still continues to get more cloudy. Wind still up a little bit. Seeing the red clay that I remember from Oklahoma. Probably something geological up here. So anyway, I'll talk to you in 10. This is Colorado City, Texas. Another town that's having a hard go of it. Now that the interstate's here. You can't see it, but around the corner is probably about an 8-story hotel that's just completely abandoned. All the windows and everything are out of it. It's just a shell. So anyway, about 40 miles east of Big Spring, just east of Colorado City now. It's another city kind of in decay as the interstate has bypassed it. Downtown section mostly made up of empty buildings, but I can see banners up from the Chamber of Commerce. They're trying. Gotta give them credit for that. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles out of Big Spring now. Wind's really picking up. You can tell by the wind turbines there. It's going pretty good. Pretty much right in our face. A little bit to the side. Had a flat since I last did this, and we also had a pack of 4 dogs chase us. So a little bit of adrenaline there. So I got about 16 more miles. Talk to you in 10. About 60 miles east of Big Spring now. I'm here at downtown Roscoe. It's kind of their downtown area. Small little town, just about 6 miles west of Sweetwater. So we got about 6 more miles to where we're staying. A little more down that street, little memorial park over there. So anyway, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. Pretty heavy storm clouds up there. Looks like it's raining pretty hard up ahead. Glad I'm back here. Everyone, well, it's Saturday here in Sweetwater. We're going to call it for today. Right now it's kind of lightened up, but we're supposed to get thunderstorms here coming in the next couple hours. I'm not going to be able to make it to Abilene in that time. Too much chance of lightning and really heavy rains. Wind will be picking up heavier, and with a big poncho it's going to be blowing me all over the road. So we're going to take today as a rest day, and tomorrow we'll be coming back here to start and riding to Abilene. So we'll catch you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Sweetwater now. I'm on the south side frontage road heading east. can see everything's much greener here. That is a combination of getting more to eastern Texas and that it rained about 1 or 2 inches yesterday. Had some tornadoes even a little bit east of here. But still some cactus. You can see a lot of windmills there. This place just had an incredible number of windmills all around it, new energy types. So right up ahead there, I have another situation where there's no alternate between hopping over the railroad tracks and going over that bridge. I think I'm going to try and hop the railroad tracks again. So catch me in 10. About 20 miles east of Sweetwater now. Just making my way. Really nice riding conditions. Little cool, little a tailwind. Very green here. The rain yesterday certainly helped that. So anyway, catch you in 10. About 30 miles east of Sweetwater. There's Ricky, one of them that joined our group here. And there's the Merkel water tank. And over here we have Mark, also another rider for today. Very happy to have him along. Just kind of flattens out here. Really nice riding weather. Got about 10-mile-an-hour wind behind us. And probably high 60s. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles east of Sweetwater now on the kind of northwest outskirts of Abilene. I'm staying over on the there's the bike on the north east corner, so got about 4 miles left to get there. The other guys, they lived in South Abilene, so they cut off a couple miles back. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. We're about 13 miles north of Abilene now in this little town called Holly. Just one of those small little Texas towns. There comes up the support van behind us. So there's kind of the street. Not a lot to it, but just stopping here for a little rest break. Talk to you in about 10. About 23 miles north of Abilene now, still on 83. I think we're going to switch over to 277 US 277 here shortly. This is Anson. As you can see, there's a sport van. Welcome to Anson. 2,500, so a decent sized small Texas town. Anyway, talk to you in 10. Okay, about 30 miles north of Abilene. Thought this was a good spot to take a look around. Just flat farmland now. If you notice, what you don't see in any of this is any oil pumps. So we're pretty much out of oil territory now. Really strong backwind, as you can probably tell. Mike's right in there. Oh. All right, talk to you in 10. 40 miles north of Abilene. I'm just on the north side of Scamford. Still about 15 miles or so to go to Haskell. A little more hills out here, not quite as flat. But anyway, talk to you in 10. About 50 miles north of Abilene now, just a little outside of Haskell. About 4 or 5 more miles. Still kind of rolling hills, definitely green. Of course, a lot of that's from the rain just got. So that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. About 10 miles north of Haskell, Texas. Overcast today. Got a little moderate breeze from the back, allowing me to maintain about 20 miles an hour. Just flat farmland around here. Some wind turbines, as you can see. Yeah, I got them quite a bit over here. We're entering another region of them. So I'll talk to you in 10. We're here right outside of Monday, Texas, about 20 miles north of Haskell. Getting a little colder. Wind still coming from behind, but first 15 miles out of Haskell, the road was moderately bumpy. Then it got really bumpy for 5 miles, and then it's been real smooth since we got into Knox County. So anyway, catch you in 10. About 31 miles northeast of Haskell. Road kind of shifted to the east, so that what was a tailwind is kind of a cross-diagonal wind right now, but still cruising along good. Getting a little cooler. Oh wow, there's a big herd of cattle there if you can see them. They're all moving in one direction. Yeah, so should we have about another 12, 13 miles, so talk to you in 10. All right, about 40 miles out of Haskell, northeast. Wind's still pretty good, still getting a little cooler. I'd say lower 60s right now. Of course, the wind's kind of across right now. Kind of love this sign too. You notice it's to the right is west and to the left is west as well. So I guess it's mostly westerly around here. Anyway, only got 6 miles to Seymour, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Now about 10 miles northeast of Seymour. Just pretty much ranch land out here. If you look over there, you see a bunch of cattle. Kind of rolling, small rolling hills. It's kind of cool, muggy in a way. Probably mid-60s, yet feels really damp and stuffy. Roads have been really smooth all the way out of Seymour. Have a little bit of a side tailwind. So, talk to you in 10. About 20 miles northeast of Seymour now. Just more flat ranch country mostly. A little bit of farming here and there. Roads have still been really smooth. This is US 277 going northeast out of Seymour. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles northeast of Seymour. Just nice green all around. Quite a contrast from West Texas. Been seeing still a lot of water damage from that storm that kept us off the road last Saturday. Haven't really showed them too much on the film, but you can see it here and there. If you can look way ahead, there's like some lights over the, kind of like a border patrol checkpoint. But I guess I'll see what it is in a bit. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Seymour, I'm sorry. We kind of diverted to Farm Road, Texas Farm Road 1954. Some more scenic route into Wichita Falls. It's going to take us by Wichita Lake. There's the crew. Say hi, guys. Wave. All right. And that's about it. I'll talk to you in 10. All right, we're about 50 miles from Seymour now. We're actually in Wichita Falls. It's kind of the outskirts of the town here. There's a sport van. So, yeah, getting kind of close. Getting very hot and humid. So, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. About 10 miles north of Wichita Falls now. Really, really windy. Mostly coming from the west, about 20-25 miles an hour, which is actually kind of nice because it was supposed to be coming from the north. Here comes a sport van. Still, even with it coming from the side, it's still keeping me down to about 10 miles an hour. We got 62 miles today, so it's going to be a slow slog. I'll talk to you in 10. About 20 miles north of Wichita Falls now. wind is still just incredible. I'm lucky when I can make 10 miles an hour. Still lots of standing water from that storm last Saturday. You can see some there. If any of you watched the Fear of the Walking Dead and they had that episode with the alligator in the standing water, I certainly understand that. So, slow going, 10 miles every hour 15 minutes, so I'll catch you in 10. 30 miles north of Wichita Falls, that's Oklahoma, on the other side of the river there. See it just on the other side of on the hill. Wind's still very, probably, there was a hill back there I should have been doing 25, 30 on, and I was doing like 12 or 13. This is gonna probably rock us all the way to Duncan, so just keep going forward and eventually we'll get there. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Wichita Falls now. We're on US 81 heading north. Wind's still there, but not quite as strong as it was earlier. So about 22 miles to go or so. So it looks like the thunderheads are starting to come in. Hopefully they avoid us. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles north of Wichita Falls now. About 12 miles from Duncan. I've been dodging thunderstorms for about the last 10 miles. Started to get rained on one, but was able to outrun it. That was kind of fun. And looks like they might be up ahead there, but may make it. So I'll talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles outside of Wichita Falls. We're on the outskirts of Duncan here. Getting late in the day. Sport van. Those are some of the thunderstorms we had to kind of maneuver around. Got rained on pretty good a couple times, but got through it. Fairgrounds over there. Good old Ron rode with me today. Love that. All right, well, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles north of Duncan now. I think we're getting into the south side of a town called Morrow, I think. Wind's not as bad as yesterday, but still pretty hardy. One of the unusual features here I'm going to show you. Kind of go up that water tower. And there you go, if you can read it. The sun's kind of in the way. So, kind of stands out. And that's the road we've been taking. Kind of been taking the back way. Been a little interesting, get to see a little different scenery. So, talk to you in 10. About 20 miles north of Duncan, we're here on US 81 going north into Chickasha. It's been pretty much continuous spotty commercial buildings all up ever since we left Duncan. Kind of getting a feeling it may go that way up to Chickasha. Chickasha is supposed to be even in a bigger town. Wind still quite an impediment. Pretty much a straight headwind today. I actually like that a little bit better than the side wind. It's a little slower going, but you're not as tense, wondering if you're going to get blown off the highway. So anyway, I'll talk to you in 10. About 30 miles north of Duncan now. Took a kind of a good break back there. This wind was just kind of taking it out of me. Wind seems to have lightened up a little bit. I don't know because it's slowed down or kind of in a valley with a lot of trees around us, which tends to dampen the wind. Still got about 12 miles to Chickasha, so talk to you in 10. 40 miles north of Duncan, and as you can see at the Chickasha city limits, wind has been a problem throughout, so I'm really happy to be about done. My legs are just hurting. So yes, like I've been going uphill for 40 miles. There were times I would come over a hill and had to gear down because the wind was on the other side of the hill. So anyway, that's all for today. Talk to you tomorrow. "10 miles north of Chickasha. So nice today compared to yesterday. The wind, very slight, maybe 5-6 mile an hour breeze, tailwind. Temperature is probably in the mid 60s right now. Really pleasant drive. Traffic's moderate, not too bad. So anyway, talk to you in 10. Okay, about 19 miles north of Chickasha. Doing this about a mile early because this is a pretty neat vantage point here. So kind of let you see. You can see the whole valley below us. I know videos and photos don't really catch expanse as well, but this is pretty neat here. You can see all around you for a long ways. Wind still coming from our back. Love it. So much better than yesterday. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles north of Chickasha now. Ron's riding with me. This is kind of another high spot. So there's this big blue SpotLink support van. The wind's still coming from our back. It ended up being a nice ride. We're headed on up to Route 66 to cut over. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles north of Chickasha. We're actually on Route 66 heading into Oklahoma City now. A few miles back we took 81 all the way up. There's the SpotLink support van. And then made a right turn onto 66, and we're going to take this all the way into Oklahoma City. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles out of Chickasha now. We're in the outskirts of Oklahoma City. Have about 8 miles to go to our destination. Just taking a little break here. This is just off Route 66. Looks like we're going to take us down for a little bit right by Lake Overholser, and then into the town. So that's it for today, and I will... Oh yeah, we're fine. Okay, thank you. So we'll talk to you again on Monday. 10 miles outside of Oklahoma City now. Winds coming slight from the south, so a little bit of a tailwind. It was supposed to be sunny all day, but as you can see, as I was told, this is Oklahoma, so weather changes quickly. All right, I'll talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Oklahoma. We're actually just heading down this kind of side little street, kind of paralleling Maine north-south highway. Trying to stay off that till you have to get on it. There's the support van. And we'll probably head up this another 6 or so miles and then probably head over towards the freeway. So talk to you in 10. About 32 miles outside Oklahoma City now. We're actually in the historic town of Guthrie. This was the territorial capital of Oklahoma before it became a state. Weather's was supposed to be sunny today. It's actually been drizzling a little bit. So trying to make it to Stillwater before it starts coming down. I'll talk to you in 10. We're on Oklahoma 33 going east, about 40 miles out of Oklahoma City, kind of northeast. We're 10 miles east of Guthrie. Kind of on top of a hill here, so you can see a lot of the surrounding territory. Little town of Langston here. Might stop in to get a bite, but talk to you in 10. All right, we're about 54 miles northeast of Oklahoma City now. Got about 12 miles to Stillwater. Here's a sport van. Kind of cloudy, very slight breeze, not bad at all. This road has had very narrow shoulders, but manageable, maybe about 2.5 feet wide. Enough to give me 3 feet separation, but not much more. Anyway, the road looks like it's widening up there, so it should be a little better. Talk to you in 10. About 63 miles northeast of Oklahoma City now. Just coming into the outskirts of Stillwater. Got about 4 miles left. So, nice little valley going down in there before. We're on US 177 now. Shoulders have been great all the way up here. I expect them to stay that way into Stillwater. So that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Stillwater. Raining slightly. Winds from the northeast, about 10 miles an hour. 57 degrees, so not the best of biking conditions. But the shoulders are pretty good. In general, so far, northern Oklahoma seems to be a little more biking friendly than south. Got 75 miles today. That's the first 10. So I'll talk to you in another 10. We're about 20 miles east of Stillwater now, still on Oklahoma 51. Got about another 10 miles on this before we head north on Oklahoma 99. Still raining. It's been raining for about the last 15 miles. But kind of on and off. However, the second part of the storm's coming through soon, so we may hunker down for a bit. So anyway, I'll talk to you in another 10 miles. All right, about 30 miles outside of Stillwater. Coming around for a panoramic view. So we're on now Highway 99 going north. As you can see, it's a nice road, but no shoulder. Nice scenic view, very pleasant up here. Threatening to rain, but nothing right now. We're hoping it'll all blow over and it'll be smooth into the 45 miles we still have to go. So, talk to you in 10. About 39.5 miles out of Stillwater now. This is where Oklahoma 99 meets up with US 64. We're going to have to go down along 64 for a while, which will then split off to 99 again after we go by Cleveland, Oklahoma. So going to be some, as you can see, some construction for a ways. Might not be able to get off for a while, so I thought I should do this here. Weather's holding out, no rain since last one. Still kind of cool, but well bundled up. So talk to you in 10. All right, about 50 miles outside of Stillwater. Got about 25, 26 miles to go. Have about 3.5 hours of sunlight left, so should be able to make it fairly easily. Nothing too scary up ahead as far as hills. And no more rain, but still a little cool. Talk to you in 10. So about 60 miles outside of Stillwater now, kind of northeast of it. Have about 15 miles to go to Pawhuska. Very green up here. Lots of cows too, although none right here. So I'll talk to you in 10. Okay, about 70 miles north of, oh man, that guy was taking a chance. About 70 miles north of, or northeast of Stillwater. About 5 miles from Pawhuska. It's trying to drizzle a little bit, but not too bad. Shoulders have been, this shoulder's good, but they've been more often than not present on this 99 going north. So luckily I've had the van along to help behind us. So anyway, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. On US 60, about 10 miles northeast of Pawhuska. Just going over some rolling hills here in Oklahoma, northern Oklahoma. got a little ways to the border. Going to be doing about 69 miles today. Could have done it in 60, but by doing the extra 9, we stay on the U.S. highways and the shoulder's better. Probably worth it. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles out of Pawhuska now. We're still on US 60, a little bit shy of Bartlesville. We're gonna, once we get there, we're gonna head on up to the 75, US 75, I think it is. We have good shoulders here. We lost them for maybe 5 miles. They just came back just a little bit ago. So still a little cool, high 50s. But so far so good. Talk to you in 10. 30 miles out of Pawhuska now, heading north on US 75. Now in the low 60s, but really kind of feels a chill in the air still. Support van there, bikes down there. Should be about, I think it was about 20 miles to Kansas from here, so I'll talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Pawhuska now. There's a little fire going on over there. Not sure if they're just burning stuff or if it's an unexpected fire. I did see some sheriffs going by a few miles back. Don't know if they're headed there. Kind of flat out here. Lots of farm country, lots of cows. So got just a few miles until we get to Kansas. I'll post a picture when we do that. Talk to you in 10. Okay, about 50 miles out of Pawhuska. We're going east on US 166. As you can see, no shoulder. Just got into Kansas, I don't know, maybe 5 miles ago. There we go, and Ron's riding with me now too, which is great. Talk to you in 10. All right, just about 60 miles out of Pawhuska. We're still on US 166. Just about this whole road has been without a shoulder. Well, it's kind of a pseudo shoulder. It's about 1.5 to 2 foot wide. Not quite what I'd consider safe. So we've had the van going behind us, but has a lot of traffic on this road. So we keep backing up traffic and having to get over. We're gonna shoot off to some tributaries, kind of stay off the road until we get into Coffeyville. It's only about 6 miles up. So anyway, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles outside of Coffeyville on north US 166. As you can see, there's very little shoulder here like the other roads. Kind of learning how to negotiate the highway and control the road. 65 mile an hour speed limit here, so somewhat challenging. But only have 46 miles to go, or actually 36 from here. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles north of Coffeyville now. Still on US 169. Shoulders got a little bit better about 5 miles ago. Not sure how long they'll stay good. Still pretty flat here. There's a support van off to the side. Just came through Cherryville. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit as a headwind. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles north of Coffeyville right now. Still on US 169, as we will be all the way into Chanute. Just nice greenery around here. Cows and horses, farms here and there. Shoulders holding out. Weather's good. Probably high 60s, low 70s right now. Should be a good day. Talk to you in 10. About 41 miles north of Coffeyville, still on US 169. About 6 more miles to go. There's farmland around here. The northwestern wind has really picked up. So that's keeping me down to about 10 miles an hour, give or take. No chance of rain, so should be okay making it in there. So anyway, talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles north of Chanute. We're actually on a county road because the shoulder on the highway here is really bad again. Just about 2 feet wide. There's about 6 or 8 feet of dirt around it, but that doesn't really help much on a bicycle. Just too unsafe. So we're going to try and take the back way up. There is a kind of an old rail trail up ahead that will take into Garnett, so we might be able to stay off the highway pretty much all the way. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Chanute. This is the southern end of the Prairie Spirit Trail. It's a reclaimed rail line from Santa Fe. I think we're going to be taking this all the way up to Garnett. So with any luck, this is going to be a boring, beautiful ride. I'll check in with you in 10. About 31 miles out of Chanute. We're still here on this Prairie Spirit Trail. I think we're going to take this all the way into Garnett. So just a beautiful ride. Little river down there. So nice and forested. Old train tracks. So, all right, talk to you in 10. About 40 miles out of Chanute. Still heading up the Prairie Spirit Trail. Going to be able to take that all the way to Garnett, it looks like. It's a nice trail all the way. It's a hard packed dirt, so a little bit rougher than solid concrete. Probably lose a few miles an hour off it, but it's just so beautiful, and no worries about traffic. So I think we've got about another 15 miles, so talk to you in 10. 50 miles north of Chanute, still on the Prairie Spirit Trail bikeway. Taking this all the way into Garnett, about 6 more miles. Really beautiful. It's been a great biking day. So, talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles north of Garnett now. As you can see, these roads, we're on the 169 north, not much shoulders. The wind's picking up pretty good, so it's giving me a good tailwind. Was able to do about 25, sometimes up to 30 miles an hour. So yeah, did about 10 miles in about a half hour, so that was good. Talk to you in 10. About 21 miles north of Garnett, heading down into Ottawa. Wind still, very good tailwind. Here comes the support van. Weather's really nice and sunny. Got about 45 miles to go to Kansas City. Talk to you in 10. Hey everyone, we're about 32 miles north of Garnett now. Still on the 169. The shoulder's been maintained nice and good. So just heading on that. The wind still behind us, 15 miles an hour or so. So it's really been helping push us forward. In the last 2.5 hours, we've made over 35 miles. Yeah, we're over halfway there to Kansas City. So here's kind of a tour of the area. There's a spot like this. They're waving there. Okay. As you can see, we have bedrock over there. Certainly shifted from the clay of southern Oklahoma to bedrock. We actually started seeing that in north Oklahoma, but it's really becoming more pronounced. Anyway, that's it for now. Talk to you in 10. About 43 miles outside of Garnett now. Highway 169 has kind of turned into more of an interstate divided access highway. I think we're getting to kind of the extreme suburbs of Kansas City. The wind has shifted from the south to from the west, so not really aiding anymore. Just kind of from the side, distracting. Anyway, talk to you in 10. About 51 miles north of Garnett now. The wind, which was a great benefit at the beginning, is now turned against us again. It's coming from the northwest. It's going to be going more northerly as the day goes on, so we're trying to hurry to get to our destination before it turns too much. Suburbs of Kansas City, past some affluent homes, back there a little bit. We're on a side road, of course. Talk to you in 10. About 59 miles north of Garnett now. A little bit early because I wanted to show you this Indian Creek Trail here in south part of Kansas City, Kansas. I've been on it for about 4 miles. It's a really nice bike path, walking path, getting around. Just wanted to give a view on this. So although Kansas has been challenging, this is definitely a good biking area. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you on Monday. Here on a stagecoach ride. Just like they do in the 1860s. Oh. About 10 miles out from the Mahaffey stage stop and farm and heritage center. I'm still on these trails around Kansas City, still well within Kansas City. These trails are really great, really beautiful. You can see the little, they call it a creek here. In California it'd be a raging river, but it's a really beautiful ride. Been doing it for about 8 miles now. I think I have about another 6 miles on it before we're over in Missouri. So I'll check in with you in 10. About 20 miles outside of the Mahaffey Center now, still well within inside the Kansas City suburbs. We're taking kind of a straight shot across from southern Kansas City over to Warrensburg. We're crossed into Missouri about 5 miles ago, so we're just going to keep on pedaling. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles out of the Mahaffey stagecoach stop and farm. Still on side roads in Missouri. There's the support van, the bike. Kind of on the southeast side of Kansas City suburbs, not quite out of them yet. Probably will be in another 10 miles. Weather is kind of good. I'd say low 60s, maybe mid 60s, slight breeze, but it's actually good weather for hard cycling. So talk to you in 10. About 40 miles since the Mahaffey stagecoach stop and farm. We're kind of on a side road here just off of Highway 50. I said I thought we'd be out of the suburbs of Kansas City. Not quite. We're really kind of on the edge. There's farmlands here, but there's also little housing developments too. So kind of on the edge. So we've got about 32 miles to go. I'll talk to you in 10. About 50 miles out of Mahaffey stagecoach stop and farm. Right now we're on US 50. As you can see, there's a lot of traffic on this road. It's about the only option though for getting between Kansas City and Warrensburg on a bicycle. Just not that many side roads that we can take that are navigable on a bike. A lot of dirt and gravel roads, kind of like this one back here, but not really too good for a bicycle. But the weather's still really good. Very light wind in the low 60s, so it's great for biking. Talk to you in 10. About 60 miles since we left Kansas City area. About 11 miles to Warrensburg now. Nice Missouri countryside. Some cows over there. Yeah, weather's still good. Clouds are breaking up just a little, but only got about 10 more to go, so I'll talk to you in 10. All right, about 72 miles since we left Kansas City area. At our final destination. Looking forward to a shower and relaxing some. So that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, about 10 miles out of Warrensburg. It is raining fairly heartily right now. We left about an hour and a half ago. It's just really slow going. We actually had to divert off the main highway because the shoulder was too narrow. It was just too unsafe. So we're back on these state highways, a much longer way around. It was already supposed to be about a 68-mile day. But it's real beautiful scenery around here. There's the van, bike. There's more traffic on this road than I would have hoped / thought. But yeah, really beautiful. So I will check in with you in another 10. We're about 20 miles from Warrensburg now, still staying on these state highways. This is State Highway Y, heading into Sedalia, yeah. Got about another 13 miles till we get that, but we're about 20 miles out of Warrensburg. Nice countryside, farmland. Kind of taking up somebody's driveway here. Just kind of taking a little rest, and then we'll hit the road. As you can see, it's raining. Supposed to be breaking around now, so hopefully next 10-15 minutes we'll start getting a little clear weather again. So talk to you in 10. About 30 miles out of Warrensburg now, still on Road Y. Really pretty around here. Stopped raining about 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. So a little respite from that. There's the bike. I'm still soaked. Will be probably for a few hours. But it's not, next storm's not supposed to be in for about another 2 or 3 hours, so hope we get some good mileage in that time. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Warrensburg now. We're on the Katy Trail. Just got on that a little bit ago in Sedalia. It started storming pretty hard with lightning and thunder, so we held out there for a while. Hadn't been raining, but just started up again. We're gonna make it as far down this as we can. Still have, in theory, about another 25 miles or so. So anyway, talk to you in 10. Okay, about 50 miles since we left Warrensburg. Just going down the Katy Trail. It's really beautiful out here. So far, it started raining again, then it stopped, so it's kind of been on and off. Still got about 20 miles to go, and it's 6:30, so don't know if we're going to make it all the way tonight. So anyway, I'll try catch you again in 10. We're about 60 miles out of Warrensburg at this little town called Pilot Grove. We're still about 12 miles from Boonsville, but we're going to call it a night. It's almost 8 p.m. and it's kind of dark out here on the trail. But we'll come back here tomorrow morning and pick up from here and pass through Boonsville on our way to Jefferson City. So nice little town here. The Katy Trail's been good. It's been on about 20 miles. Been some parts have been soft, but it's certainly navigable. So that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow from this same location. All right, starting out again here from Pilot Grove, Missouri. This is what it looks like in the daytime. Getting kind of a little late start, but it seems like a really nice day today. Shouldn't rain much. Have about 60 miles to do today. So talk to you in 10. About 12 miles out of Pilot Grove. We're here at Boonville. That's where we're actually supposed to start the day today, but we needed to catch up for yesterday. So really pretty, as you saw in the last one. Got about another 50 miles to go, so you'll probably see about 5 more of these type Katy Trail videos. Talk to you in 10. About 21 miles out of Pilot Grove, entering the Davisdale Conservation Area. Still on the Katy Trail, of course. Well, I'm going to be there pretty much all the way to Jefferson City. Just farmland around us mostly. It's about 70, 71 degrees, nice, a little humid, but it's a fun biking day. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles out of Pilot Grove now. We're still on the Katy Trail, as we will be. Right now, we're right next, we've got these high bluffs here. Kind of hard to see them behind the trees. And then we have the the Missouri River right here. Because of all the rain in the last few days, they say it's at a minor flood stage around here. It's a lot of big debris, lots of big logs and stuff going down the river. And there, if you see it, there's a little sign warning about falling rocks and not to stop on the trail for the next quarter of a mile. And then here, if I come up just a little bit, you can probably see the bluffs a little bit higher up there. They're pretty tall. So anyway, I'll talk to you in 10 miles. All right, about 40 miles out of Pilot Grove, still on Katy Trail. If you look way up there, there's bluffs up there. So we're still having bluffs to the north of us. And then over here, you can't really make it out, but this whole area is just flooded over here for about as far as you can see. This is supposed to be a creek right here, but I think it's flooded all the way out to the Missouri River out there. Pretty neat. So got a little crossing up there. So I'll talk to you in 10. All right, about 60 miles out of Pilot Grove. Still here on Katy Trail, about 6 or 7 miles to our end destination. Still have really high bluffs up around us. Can't really see them between the trees. And then still have the Missouri River over here really flowing fast. And there you can hear the train. That's on the other side of the river. This is an abandoned rail line from a competing one that didn't make it. So anyway, that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles outside of Jefferson City, that's Mike Bell riding along with us today. It was supposed to stop raining about 15 minutes ago, but obviously not. It's coming down here pretty decent. Definitely a steady rain. Got some farmlands to the south of us. Have about 60 more miles today, so I'll talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Jackson City now, still along the Katy Trail. Have to admit, with it being wet, it's a little more challenging. You have to work a little harder. It's paralleling Missouri 94 here, still farmlands to the south of us. The Missouri River is probably over a little beyond that tree line. So done about 20 miles, about 55 or so to go. Talk to you in 10. Okay, we have about 30 miles since we ridden since came out of Jackson City. However, we actually had to take a little detour because back here, as you can see, it's flooded. We got about a half mile back there. Then we had to take hop in the car and do about a 25 mile loop around here to get back to this end of it. So we're going to continue on down there, and I'll talk to you in another 10 miles. About 40 miles out of Jefferson City now at milepost 107 on the Katy Trail. I started at 224, so about 117 miles on it so far. I did miss between 117 and 118 due to flooding, but we more than made up on that on having to backtrack about 3 miles to get a ride for the detour. Temperatures mid 60s, light wind, as you can see there. Overall, a pretty good riding day right now. It was raining in the morning, but now it's nice. Mosquitoes all over the place, so gotta go. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles outside of Jefferson City now. Still along the Katy Trail, of course. Hasn't really been raining for the last couple hours. Had another flat back there. We're gonna make as much mileage as we can. Questionable if we'll make it to Washington, but I'll talk to you in 10. We're about 60 miles out right now from Jefferson City. Got a few more, having some more flooding. See a road up there. Can't get through there with the support van. Of course, we're really going in this direction. You can see how much the flooding is right there. The main highway is closed up ahead, so the support van's going to have to loop way around 30-40 miles to catch us the next 5 or 10 miles up the road for us, assuming we can make it. So we're going to keep going on. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 10 miles outside of Washington now. I did not do a 70-mile last night because we were rushing to make it into Washington. And we were really hauling butt, so apologies if you were looking for it, but we're back out on the road today. There's Mike. He's joining us this morning. So talk to you in 10. About 20 miles out of Washington, still heading down the Katy Trail. Nice canopied trailway right here. Still have about 20 miles to go, maybe a little less, so talk to you in 10. About 30 miles out of Washington now, just riding along the Katy Trail still. There's another trail rider. Got a little varmint up there, little squirrel running around. River is right over there, but you can't really see it now. And got about 11 more miles till St. Louis, so I will check in 10. All right, about 37 miles east of Washington, still on the Katy Trail. What you might not believe is we're actually in the midst of urban St. Louis. It's kind of neat here. All along the trail, it's hard to even know you're in the town. That's the 364 going over the river. We're just a little bit west. There's Mike joining us. We're just a little bit west of where the I-70 crosses over. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is downtown St. Charles. Really old historic district. Really surprised. Didn't expect this in a suburb of St. Louis. Really nice. About 10 miles out of St. Charles, still along the Katy Trail. Just a lot of farmland. It's kind of amazing how fast we went from core city to just rural farmland again. It's much softer on the east side of St. Charles, so taking a little longer. Talk to you in 10. We're about 20 miles out of St. Charles now. We got past the end of the Katy Trail. So now we're back on roads, but we're having to navigate over and around flooded roads. There's a lot of them out here. That's not supposed to be water there. And so I think we're getting fairly close to the bridge, maybe another 7-8 miles. So checking with you in 10. All right, about 30 miles out of St. Charles now. I'm in Illinois. Left the Katy Trail back. There goes the support van. There's the bike right there. So if you look at the water level there, and as I pan around, you can see the Mississippi, which is at much higher flood level than the Missouri, which I don't really understand, but that's what I was told. If you look there, it looks like the water on this side of the dike is much higher than on the land side. So dike's definitely doing its job today. And there you have some flood control channels or boat locks, not sure. I guess I'll see in a little bit when I ride down there. So I will talk to you in 10. About 40 miles out of St. Charles now. We're off the There was a trail that we were on for quite a while there. It was pretty nice. We're on highways again. I think we're going to be on a trail again here soon. So far, Illinois has been really good with being biking friendly. Here's a nice wide shoulder on this little road with a bike lane in it. So talk to you in 10. About 50 miles out of St. Charles now. I'm on a bike trail in Illinois. These have been just great bike trails throughout, ever since I got into Illinois. They've either been paved, dedicated roads, or when I've been on the highway, there's been a very wide shoulder with a dedicated bike lane on it. This is the first dirt trail I've been on, and this is only about a half mile back. This area is actually under construction, so I think it might go back to paved. Anyway, all thumbs up for Illinois so far. Talk to you in 10. Okay, 60 miles out of St. Charles, still in Illinois. I'm still on these bike paths. This is just amazing. I've been on these dedicated paved bike paths pretty much since I got in Illinois. Probably 25 miles or so, and you can see I'm just out in the middle of nowhere. And these bike paths are going to take me almost to my end destination. So anyway, that's it for today. I only have about another 6 miles, and I will talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles southeast of Williamson. We came about 7 miles south to get on the Illinois 140 and take that east to meet up with the 40 all the way into Altamont. As you see, not much shoulder here, kind of our first bad experience in Illinois. So I'll check in with you in 10. About 20 miles out of Williamson now, still going down Illinois 120. Really beautiful area, a little overcast. Temperature is probably around 70, maybe high 60s right now. So talk to you in 10. We're about 30 miles outside of Williamson now, in the town of Smithboro, about where the 140 meets up with US 40. We're going to be on US 40 the rest of the way into Altamont, which is about 34 miles away. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles out of Williamson now. We're now on US 40. Unfortunately, it doesn't have much of a shoulder either. We've kind of pulled off to the side here for a break. So we're off on a little side road. So that's where we came from. And that's where we're headed to. About another 22 miles. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles outside of Williams. We're just a little bit east of Valdelia now. That's how you pronounce it. It used to be the first state capital, the first state capital of Illinois, I believe. Still have about 14 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. About 60 miles outside of Williamson, still along US 40 here. We're about 5 miles from Altamont. That's St. Elmo back there. Just stopped for a little break here. See the SpotLink support man over there. So just gonna continue on here. I'll talk to you tomorrow. 10 miles out of Altamont. Still just we're gonna be taking on US 40. Gonna be taking that most of the way to Marshall. So getting warm, sun's out. It's supposed to get to high 70s, so it should be a warm and humid one. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles out of Altamont now. Still on US 40. Really no shoulders around here, so vans providing close support. Just nice wooded farmlands. Got about 44 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. On US 40, about 30 miles outside of Altamont. We're just maybe a quarter mile past a little community called Julette. Still just standard more traditional Midwestern farming community. It's actually cooled down a little bit, so not quite as hot and not quite as muggy. About 35 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles out of Altamont here in southeastern Illinois. Nice little lake with a house there. Just still more farmland and Midwest living. And this is still US 40. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles outside of Altamont, still on US 40. Just giving you a look at the very beautiful scenery. Very green. So I'll talk to you in 10. About 60 miles out of Altamont, still on US 40. Took a little detour back there, went through the town of Martinsville on the old US 40. There seems to be towns about every 7 miles or so out here. Probably something to do with the farming communities. Temperature is still fairly good, slight breeze. Yeah, we have about 6 miles to go. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. We're about 10 miles out of Marshall. We're also at the Illinois-Indiana state line. Where the bike is right about where the state line is. So anyway, just looking around. There's the support man. That's in Illinois. And that's Indiana. So talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Marshall now. I'm on the National Road Heritage Trail. This is Terre Haute that I'm in right now. Nice part of those Indiana trails that I was telling you about. I'll be on and off these going to Greencastle. So talk to you in 10. About 30 miles out of Marshall. Been going off on some back roads here. We're on North County Road 675 West or something here in southwestern Indiana. Just farmhouses mostly around. There's a support van. So just pretty green country around. Getting a little hot, a little humid, probably high 70s right now, but a nice little breeze. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles out of Marshall now, back on US 40, just a little bit to the east of the city of Brazil, Indiana. Much bigger town than I had thought it was going to be. So yeah, wind, as you can see, kind of coming out of the south. So a little crosswind right now. Got about 20 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles out of Marshall. We're here on the National Road System, so this is kind of a National Heritage Road Trail. So this is kind of a back country road. Nice trees around us. There's the van. Ron's riding with us. Hi, Ron. And then more farmland out here. Breadbasket of America. So that's it. We only got about 7 miles to go, so that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, about 10 miles out of Greencastle. That's Dan and Greg who've joined us for today. You'll notice the road changes from crushed limestone to paved there. Greg says it'll be paved all the way, the rest of our way around Indiana. Wind just picked up here. It's mid-60s. We're on the Vandalia Trail as part of the National Heritage Road Trail. So, expecting a good ride. Talk to you in 10. We're about 20 miles outside of Greencastle now. Wind's picked up a little bit. We also haven't had as much cover, so maybe just feeling a little bit more. We're here in the city of Clayton right now. There's Greg, the Spotlink Sport Van, Big Blue. Just nice, little quiet, small Indiana town. So that's it. I'll talk to you in 10. Hey, about 30 miles outside of Greenfield, still on the Visalia Trail. You can actually see it up there in the town of Plainsfield. It's all been paved pathway. Really nice to go down, really beautiful. Clouds are threatening, but no rain yet. I think good chance we're gonna make it before the rain. And Greg and Dan are still with us. So see more of them tomorrow. So we've got about 14 miles to go, so talk to you in 10. All right, 40 miles out of Greencastle. We're getting into the suburbs of Indianapolis now. Only have about another 5 miles or so to go, maybe less. So it's kind of an industrial area, but there's a little creek down here, kind of nice. And there's some bike trails along the creek over there. And Dan's checking out his legs, stretching them out. Yeah. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. We're about 10 miles east of downtown Indianapolis. So obviously we're still in the suburbs here. This is actually part of the National Historic Road, first road out west after the Louisiana Purchase. So this is where it's on now. A little cold today, high 40s, slight breeze from the west, which is a good tailwind, and we're just going to keep going. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of downtown Indianapolis. That's the Penske Trail going down there. We're going to follow that for a few miles and back on US 40 for much of the way to Newcastle. So it's just, we're outside of Indianapolis. There's Dan. Hi, Dan. So that's about it. We'll talk to you in 10. 30 miles out of downtown Indianapolis. So we're back on US 40. So we're going to head that down to about Indiana 3. There's a little cattle farm there. I can smell them. So just farmland around here mostly. Yeah. SpotLink van. All right, talk to you in 10. We're about 43 miles outside of downtown Indianapolis. We're now on Indiana 3 going north into Newcastle. We just left US 40 a little bit back there. You can see it in the very end of the road. And it's just farmland around. SpotLink support van, there's Dan. So anyway, that's it. We got less than 10 miles left, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Newcastle now. Still back on US 40. So just making it down, all just fairly flat farmland around here. No gas stations, no stores, but there is an auto sales place here. So if you need any autos, you can come here. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Newcastle now, still on US 40. You can't actually see it here, but I'm definitely seeing a shift in colonial style architecture. Leftover influence from when the migration west in the early days of the nation. So got a car coming there. Temperature is probably around 60, maybe 62. Have a headwind of about 10 miles an hour. It's really slowing us down. Done about 20 miles, have about 52 to go. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles from Newcastle. This puts us actually right in the heart of Richmond, Indiana. We're still about 5 miles from the border with Ohio. So this is kind of just a segment of Richmond. Nice little streets there. If you look around, you can kind of see some of the colonial influence architecture. And there's the SpotLink support van. So talk to you in 10. About 40 miles east of Newcastle now, still on US 40. I'm in Ohio. We're in Ohio now. So got about 35 miles to go to Dayton. So talk to you in 10. Okay, about 50 miles from Newcastle, still on US 40 in Ohio. This is Ohio farmland now. Clouds are coming, as you can see. We're trying to race the rain into Dayton. Still got about 22 miles, so probably about 2 hours left. So talk to you in 10. All right, about 60 miles east of Newcastle, getting close to Dayton now. We kind of went a little south of US 40, took a bike trail and then some county roads, kind of make it a little shorter to get to our hotel. I kind of came up on here on the hill so you can see this plant. I'm not sure you can make the dimensions, but it's huge. As you see, it's a caterpillar plant. And yeah, so we've got about 10 miles left. I'll check in at the end, just show you where we are and tell you how the road went. Right now, it looks like we might beat the rain, so that's what I'm hoping for. Talk to you in 10. All right, here we are in Dayton, a little suburb, kind of a hotel location. About 69.5 miles, so just a little shy of 70. So that's it for today. Beat the rain. I'll talk to you tomorrow. About 11 miles from taking off from our hotel in northern Dayton. We're actually right next to downtown Dayton here on the bike trails along the river here. Can hardly even tell it's near downtown. Downtown was pretty nice. Probably should have got a video of that. But anyway, there's some geese with some little ducklings or whatever you call their kids. So anyway, going to be on trails almost all day today. Right now it's about 50 degrees, light rain, so I'll talk to you in 10. About 20 miles into the ride. Right now we're about midway between Dayton and Xenia, something like that. Along US Bike Route 50. I think that's the Interstate 70 right there. Spartlink support van, my bike's behind it. These trails are really nice. Still about 50 degrees, intermittent weather. Be like this most of the day today, but I'm glad we're going to be on trails almost all the way. Talk to you in 10. 30 miles since we started riding this morning. This is the town of Xenia. On a bike trail here that I think goes all the way to London, which is our destination for today. Maybe low 50s now. Stopped raining. It rained for about the first hour of the ride today, but so far so good. It's supposed to be decreasing, so but it's going to stay cold all day. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles since we left this morning. Still on US Bike Route 50. Which I think is also Ohio Bike Route 1. This goes all the way to Erie. We're about a mile east of Cedarville. Pretty much just canopied trail most of the way. I guess actually it's better say protected trail. So there's some wind out there, but not affecting me too bad on the trail here. So still cold. No real rain, a few sprinkles. About 20 miles to London. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles out now, still on US BR 50. About 10 miles outside of London. Cropland. Have a little railroad around here. Oh, that thing's moving. Oh, that's interesting. There's no engine that I see, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. Huh, that was strange. All right, well, something different. So I will talk to you in 10, which will probably be our destination. Talk to you then. All right, 60 miles out of Dayton. We're here at City Hall of London, Ohio. This is where we're gonna meet the mayor tomorrow morning. So it's kind of the administrative area of London. Main Street's a couple blocks over. But anyway, that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. We're about 10 miles outside of London now, still on US BR 50. We're about midway now between London and Columbus, Ohio. Some rail tracks that parallel the bike trail here. It's kind of still rural setting. As you can see, nice and sunny skies, probably mid 50s right now. Quite a improvement over yesterday. So talk to you in 10. We're 20 miles east of London now. Although you can't tell it from here, we're on this Camp Chase rail trail. We're definitely in the western urban area of Columbus now. I just went through kind of a commercial area before getting on this trail, so kind of probably going to be on and off trails. This city is pretty big, so probably the next 2 or 3 check-ins will be in the Columbus urban area. So talk to you in 10. 30 miles outside of London now. We're a little bit to the just a little northeast of downtown Columbus. So right here next to Interstate 71, bike path goes along right here. So up to the low 60s now, and I'll talk to you in 10. We're about 40 miles since London now, about 15 miles northeast of downtown Columbus. Kind of heading a little north now as we head up towards the Cleveland area. Have nice bike trails coming out of the city here. I don't think it's US BR 50, but still bike trails along creeks and rivers up here. So I'll talk to you in 10. About 10 miles outside of Berkshire now. Sorry I didn't do the final post last night. Kind of got distracted with route changes. But there's Interstate 71. We're going to be, there apparently is not really any bike paths between Berkshire and Mansfield, so we're going to be on these small country roads pretty much all the way up there, kind of back and forth, zigzag on north, south, east, west roads. So anyway, talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Berkshire now. As you can see, it's a really sunny day, probably mid 60s now. Probably going to get into the low 70s. We're just again on small county roads. So as you can see, this is Morrow County 170. Going to be on that for a few more miles and zigzagging some more. Talk to you in 30. About 30 miles out of Berkshire, going along country roads in Ohio to get to our destination in Mansfield. Stopped here next to a little power plant to have a little lunch. Getting ready to head back out. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Berkshire. And we're now on US 42 heading towards Mansfield. Just still pretty countryside. It's very relaxing out here from a nature point of view. Talk to you in 10. We're about 52 miles after Berkshire now. We're in the city of Mansfield. That is our hotel. And normally I'd be wrapping it up for today, but it's actually still really early, about 2 o'clock. Oh, I'm sorry, about 3 o'clock. And feeling good, a nice day, so we're gonna do another 10 or 20 of tomorrow's miles right now. And we'll just shuttle back. So I'll talk to you in 10. All right, we're about 60 miles since we left Berkshire and about 8 miles out of Mansfield. Right here along the interstate, I think it's 71. We keep crossing it back and forth as that kind of goes up to Cleveland. Spot link van and my bike, and that's the trail we're going to take from here. It's all back roads and stuff. So anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about 70 miles since Berkshire, about 18 since Mansfield. Still fairly early, about 4:22. Still really nice out. We've got a little bit of a, somewhere between a breeze and a light wind. So just beautiful. It's kind of Amish country out here too, so really beautiful. I think that's going to be it for today. I'm not anticipating doing another 10, so I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, about 30 miles outside of Mansfield, but we did the first 20 yesterday, so this is the first check-in for today. We're just a little north of the town called Nova right now. Still kind of rural area, a lot of farmland, but houses are still pretty close together. That's it for now. I'll talk to you in 10. About 40 miles north of Mansfield now on Ohio 511. We're kind of in the township of Camden. So just more farmland around. Support van. Yeah, got about 20 miles, 25 miles to Elyria. It's going to be where we stay for the night. It's kind of on the western side of Cleveland. So anyway, I'll talk to you in 10. About 50 miles outside of Mansfield now. Kind of just around Oberlin, maybe a little bit to the east of it. Back on these wonderful, beautiful paved Ohio bike paths. So got about another 12 miles till we get to Elyria, so I'll talk to you in 10. All right, this is our destination for today. We're about 62 miles outside of Mansfield, about 42 miles ridden today. We're in the town of Elyria. This will be our starting point for tomorrow as well. Should be interesting tomorrow. We have about 70 miles from one end of Cleveland suburbs to the other. So catch you tomorrow morning. We're about 10 miles outside of Elyria. And as you can see here, we are by the coast of Lake Erie, some of the Great Lakes. So finally made it there. It's a really beautiful SpotLink sport van and my bike. It's probably mid-60s right now, overcast, slight breeze, not too bad. I'll talk to you in 10. Okay, about 20 miles out of Elyria. We're here on US 6, right near Lake Erie. It's also known as Lake Road. Just on the other side of those houses is Lake Erie. So really beautiful community. It has been for the last 10 miles or so. Suspect it will be for a while. It's a beautiful ride today. A little on the cool side, but definitely nice. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles east of Elyria now. Getting close to Chicago. Downtown Cleveland. I can kind of see the skyline through the fog. Nice little park over there. Just came from that way. I'm on US 20 now. So getting ready to head down that road. And there's the area. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles outside of Elyria. Still kind of hugging the coast. Just kind of city streets here. Kind of a little east of downtown Cleveland. Still heading east to Minter. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles from Elyria, here in Willowick, Ohio. A little east of, there you can see the lake over there, Lake Erie. A little east of downtown Cleveland. And got about 5 more miles to go. So still in an urban setting. So city for about 50 some miles. Oh, that's it. Talk to you tomorrow. All right, we're actually about 22 miles outside of Minter. Although it's nice and sunny right now, I didn't do the first 2 because it was raining pretty hard, and also the roads were narrow and dangerous to stop on. So we actually hung out here in McDonald's for a little while. We knew the storm was passing. I'm soaked right now, but looks like I'll have a chance to dry out and keep on going. We have about another 50 miles to Girard. So talk to you in a little less than 10. All right, about 32 miles outside of Minter right now. We're at the Geneva State Park. As is often the case around here, just really beautiful. So this is a state park, but for most of the road it's houses most of the way, dotting the sides. Now that we're getting out of the Cleveland metro area. We have this for about another 20 miles or so, and then we start heading inland again towards Girard. So talk to you in 10. All right, about 40 miles outside of Minter. We're now in Ashtabula, Ohio, on Ohio 531, going east. It's right next to the lake, although you can't see it here. The lake's, I don't know, less than a quarter mile that way. We were just on the lake a little bit ago. So just a little small community here along the route. Still got about 32 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 50 miles outside of Minter. We're still on Ohio 531 near the coast. As you can see, right behind these houses is Lake Erie. Just passed up some really large houses, a little more subdued here. Support van. I guess we might be getting into the town of Kingsborough. Not really sure. That's it. Got about 22 miles more, so talk to you in 10. About 60 miles outside of Minter now. We're in a town, I think it's pronounced something like Connecticut, Ohio, just maybe a mile or so from the Pennsylvania state line. There's a sport van getting ready, take off. Just stopped in here for a minute, and I'll talk to you in 10. All right, about 70 miles outside of Minter now. We're in Pennsylvania. We came in on Pennsylvania Highway 5, which had, as soon as we got in, had really nice shoulders for bike trails. We're on that for quite a few miles. There's a sport van and my bike. But then we had to we're kind of zigzagging down to back to US 20 to end the day at the Girard Chamber of Commerce. So anyway, that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. About 10 miles out of Girard, we're back on Pennsylvania Highway 5. It's also a bike route. Pretty good shoulders on it. Not great, but good. Good enough that I'm having the van just do its slinky maneuver. So that's that. Temperature, it was really raining harder today, but luckily since we took off, it hasn't been. So staying dry so far. Mid 60s, supposed to be cooling down substantially. So anyway, talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Girard now, kind of on the far east side of the city of Erie, Pennsylvania now. Took a little bike path through the city. We're still on PA Highway 5. Looks like we're coming into Lawrence Park Township here. We've been near the coast, but not on the coast yet. Hoping to see water again soon. So talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles outside of Girard. Here still along PA 5, probably just a few miles to New York. We still haven't got to the coast, but if you look right there through the trees, you can see Lake Erie, kinda. And then over here, we have a whole bunch of vineyards. Go around the SpotLink van. There's the bike. Go up kind of high. You can see they're just all over the place out there. So anyway, getting a little cooler here. It's supposed to cool out throughout the day. So I'll talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Girard now, making really good time with this tailwind. It's supposed to be between about 13 to 20 miles an hour. We get 20 later in the day. But along with the tailwinds coming some colder weather. So slowly getting colder, not enough that I have to bundle up yet. But at this rate, we're going to be in Dunkirk pretty quick. So talk to you in 10. About 51 miles outside of Girard now. The tailwinds continue to act like rocket fuel for our ride, making good time. I forgot to mention we actually transitioned over from Pennsylvania to New York. The roads in Pennsylvania were really good, but they got even better when we came into New York. We're still on State Route 5, New York, rather than Pennsylvania. And this is Bike Route 517, I believe. You can see the shoulders are nice and wide with little rumble strips separating the road from the shoulder. So going to continue on this. Got about another 12 miles. Talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles out of Girard now. Also just crossing into the town of Dunkirk, where we're going to stay for the night. Spot length van. And just kind of the coastal area of New York, the Great Lakes coastal area. The lake is just a little bit off to the side, can't see it from here. But that's it for today. No rain. I'll talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles outside of Dunkirk. I think this is the town of Silver Creek. Small little town. About 26 miles from Buffalo, so expect to start hitting that area soon, that urban area. So still here on New York 5, Bike Route 517. Talk to you in 10. 20 miles outside of Dunkirk now. We're now in the city of Angola, New York, a little off the Lake Erie, small little community here. More of the town's inland. It's sunny, but still kind of cool, mid-50s, maybe getting up to the high 50s now. Still on Route 5, there's the bike, and on Bike Route 517. Probably be on this most of the way, if not all the way into Niagara Falls. So talk to you in 10. We're about 30 miles outside of Dunkirk now. We had a flat a couple miles back. So this is the town of Hamburg, New York. We're right next to the lake now, as you can see. So very kind of urban area. Spot length van, the bike. Yeah. So that's it. Still have a tailwind. Still just high 50s, but nice and sunny. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Dunkirk now. We're on the south edge of Buffalo, getting ready to head into the downtown area. This is a little park where I'm going to take a trail for about a mile to just south of downtown. See how it goes. Should be an interesting trail through downtown Buffalo. Talk to you in 10. Hey, about 50 miles outside of Dunkirk. We're a little north of downtown Buffalo on one of the trailways along the route, along the lake, or an inlet, not really sure. So we have interstate right next to us. And yeah, just cruising along, have about 15 miles left. We're kind of making slow headway today, but we have about another, I don't know, 3 hours of daylight left. 15 miles, shouldn't have any problem. So talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles outside of Dunkirk now, getting a little later in the day. I'm actually on this island called Grand Island that's on the little river that connects Lake Erie to Lake Ontario before Niagara Falls. So I got about 7 miles left to the hotel. You can see it's kind of end of the day, the sun up there. Nice green here, kind of quiet. Interstate 190 next to us. We're actually going to start taking that trail right there, and we'll be on trails all the way to our hotel tonight, going over the other half of the river on back to the mainland, and then along the river down to Niagara Falls area. So that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles outside of Niagara Falls now. That's Niagara Falls International Airport just up ahead there. Weather's not bad. It's probably low 60s now. Slight wind coming from the east, so a little bit of a headwind. Not bad though. Headed down that road there to Lockport today. Going to be a short ride, only about 25 miles. So I will check in with you in 10. Hey, about 20 miles outside of Niagara Falls. I think we're on New York 364 highway going east. Lockport's just up ahead. So that refreshing breeze earlier has turned into an annoying forward resistance now. Probably about 6 to 9 miles an hour. So anyway, we're only about 5 miles from our destination, so that's going to be it today. Short day. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Lockport now. We're going along the Erie Canal Trail. It's a combination of crushed stone and mostly hard dirt. We're supposed to get some significant rain here in a couple hours. It's supposed to go through in only about 2 hours, but I'm afraid this is going to turn to mush if it gets very wet. So we will see. Talk to you in 10. Hey everyone, just a little midday update. As you can see behind me, it's kind of pouring out there. I was riding down the trail here and saw some thunder and lightning, and it was sprinkling lightly. So I kind of made my way towards this gazebo I'm under now. And I don't know if you can see the canal down there, but I could actually see the torrent of rain just coming in my direction. So I hurried and got under here and was able to make it before the real heavy rain started. So just kind of waiting it out now, see how it goes, and then I'll pedal on. About 20 miles outside of Lockport now, where I was not able to avoid the rain. It hit us pretty hard, turned the Erie Canal into really kind of a slushy mess. So we're now here on Highway 31, bike route, New York Bike Route 5, just east of the city of Medina. We stopped there, had some coffee, little lunch, tried to regroup before we headed out, let the rain pass. As you can see, it's kind of breaking up, so hoping we're done with the rain for today. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles outside of Lockport now. We're here along New York State 31. Also New York Bike Route 5. You might notice that fire hydrant has a little red and white stick sticking up from it. Seen a lot of those out here. My guess is that so they can find the fire hydrant when they get a lot of snow. Maybe if one of you knows for sure, you can let me know. So we're just a little east of the city of Alberon, village of Alberon. Have about 35 miles to go. The rain seems to be over now. I'm waiting for a 15-20 mile an hour tailwind to kick in to kind of propel us that direction. It's getting there, not quite there yet. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Lockport now, still on New York Highway 31, as you can see, New York Bike Route 5. We're just a little bit to the east of the town of Holly, New York. The tailwind is finally picking up a little bit, so picking up a little speed. Have about 25 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. 50 miles out of Lockport. We had another flat back there, flat number 12. Put a new tire on also, which gave us some problems. So it took a while. It's warm, pretty sunny on and off, and got a nice strong tailwind, so counting on that to kind of push me through to Rochester. Have about another 15 miles or so. Talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles out of Lockport now. These are some city streets inside Rochester. We're kind of in West Rochester right now. Have about 5 miles, 4 miles until our destination. Had a few challenges today, but overcame them all. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles outside of Rochester, in the village of Pittsford. So I'm riding along the Erie Canal here. Been nice paved trails all the way outside of the city. It hasn't rained all day. It's not supposed to, but the clouds look like they might have a few drops in them. So just riding along. Gonna stay on this for a little while, then hitting roads for a bit, then back on the trail. So talk to you in 10. About 20 miles east of Rochester now, in the little town of Macedon. I'm back on Highway 31, Bike Route 5. The cities kind of come and go. It's kind of like we never leave like a rural suburban area, just kind of continuous so far. Have about 35 miles to go to Waterloo. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles east of Rochester now. We're back on the Erie Canal. Seems to be nice and dry. So we're right across the canal slash kind of lake of Fort Gibson right now. See that here in just a second. So kind of move around a little bit so you can see the little town over there. So kind of a nice little water area. So temp's good, probably mid 60s right now. Not really much of a wind I feel here. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles east of Rochester now. Been here on the Erie Canal Trail. It's ending here for a little bit, going on the street. It's kind of been on and off recently, but still a really nice trail. Seems really underutilized for what it could be. And then we have the canal right there, and then we have some locks up here. Seen those periodically throughout the ride as the canal goes towards the Atlantic. So anyway, we're going to get back on the roads here. We're going to shoot south soon towards Waterloo. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles outside of Rochester now. Ron's riding with me. That's him there. We're at the border of Waterloo. So this is along Highway 96. We went down Highway 14 for much of the way, for about, I don't know, 8-9 miles. The shoulder was narrow for about the first 3 miles on 14, and then got pretty wide. We're on the 96 now. They were a little narrow and they just got a little wider here. So certainly appreciative of that. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles outside of Waterloo now. We're here on New York 90, going a little bit northeast towards Port Byron. Going to take kind of a combination of trails and roads today. Not really sure which community this is. May just be kind of a rural area in between small towns. Talk to you in 10. Hey, about 20 miles outside of Waterloo. We're here in Weedsport, just on Highway 31 again. You can see those clouds. We're kind of racing to stay ahead of them, get to Syracuse before it rains. So we're going to get back on the bike. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles outside of Waterloo. It's the trail there. Not sure if we're going to take that or roads. We were trying to race to make it to Syracuse before it started raining. Obviously, we did not make that. So it was raining moderately a little bit ago. Now it's just back down to sprinkles again. So yeah, we're going to figure out what to do here. I'll talk to you in 10. Okay, 40 miles from Waterloo. We're now in the outskirts of Syracuse. Some trains. There's some sort of factory. It looks like it's still going. So just kind of on the outer suburbs here at a little mini mart. So got about 7 miles to go. So that's going to be it today. Talk to you tomorrow.
He's alright, me and my baby, he's so tight.
About 10 miles east of Syracuse now. We're on the old Erie Canal Trail. One thing I didn't realize is the Erie Canal had many routes. Just like a highway over the years will take different routes, they gave the Erie Canal different routes along the way. So this is one of the old ones that's not used anymore. But they do have a nice trail down it. For about the first 4 miles out of Syracuse, it was paved, and then it turned into this crushed stone. Should be a beautiful riding day today. Start off in the mid-high 60s, probably around 70 now. Probably get up to the mid-70s. Talk to you in 10. 20 miles east of Syracuse now, still along the old Erie Canal Trail. Pretty much still crushed stone. Had a large segment of paved in the middle there with the trailhead. Had a whole bunch of people on. Now it's kind of thinning out again. You can see a couple people up ahead. Still a beautiful day. Talk to you in 10. About 30 miles out of Syracuse. A little more than halfway between Syracuse and Utica. On some little back road here and between the two. Some farmland out here. Ron hopped on the bike. He's riding with us today. So getting a little warm, getting up to the mid-70s now, so but got a little breeze, so that helps with it. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles outside of Syracuse now, about 11 miles short of Utica, here in the little town of Westmoreland on Main Street. Getting ready to head into town. I think we're going to take that road there. So talk to you in 10. All right, 50 miles outside of Syracuse. We're back on the Erie Canal Trail. I think this might be the current Erie Canal. It looks a little wider and well maintained than the old one. We're essentially on the outskirts of Utica now, probably on the north side of it. I can hear a lot of traffic. I think that's the interstate just on the other side of the canal. But that's it for today. Check in tomorrow. Should be a nice, soggy, wet ride tomorrow. Talk to you then. About 10 miles east of Utica, as the Weather Service so reliably predicted, it's raining today, and raining, and raining. Suspect it's going to rain all day. It's just been a light rain, but consistent. Got about 55 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Utica now. We're here in the town of Little Falls, New York. I am sliding this a little bit towards cities because I try to find an overhang to do these videos because it's just a little too wet to have my phone out to take these pictures. But it looks like it is down to light sprinkles now, which is the lightest it's been all morning. Hope it stays that way. So far it's been raining pretty consistently all morning. Not heavy, but just a constant light rain. It's been mid-50s and got a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, although that looks like that's not here either. Hope I don't have to go over any of those hills there. Anyway, I'll talk to you in 10. About 30 miles outside of Utica now. In a little hamlet here in New York along Highway 5. It's still been raining, although it seems to be getting a little lighter. So I'll certainly take that. Still got about 35 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. We're about 40 miles outside of Utica now. Stopped here in Palatine Bridge. Gonna have some lunch. So it's still raining. as you can probably see, but lightly. So not as oppressive as it was earlier. Seems to be breaking up a little bit, but hoping it'll stop here in the next hour or so. Probably have about another 3 hours into Amsterdam. Talk to you in 10. Okay, about 52 miles out of Utica. We're here in the town of Fonda. Getting close to Amsterdam now, about 12 miles away or so. So still kind of following the canal trail, but on Highway 5. The bike route ended, not sure what happened to it, but the shoulder's been pretty good. Got bad the last, maybe 5 miles. So anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, about 60 miles out of Utica. Only got a few miles left to we get to our hotel. So still on Highway 5, as we've been all day. Really pretty along here. Over there, you can see, I think that's the Mohawk River. I think it also may double as part of the canal, but not really sure. The canal trail also goes along here on the other side of the river. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, we're about 10 miles southeast of Amsterdam now. That road, have been on the 5, New York 5. We're getting ready to turn here. Kind of go through a maze of side roads. Can't see it from here, but there's some mountains behind there. I know I have about 1,000-foot climb to go through over the next few miles. So it's going to start getting fun. Talk to you in 10. About 20 miles outside of Amsterdam now. We're on these county roads. Going to be on a lot of these all the way to into Vermont. Just kind of zigzagging our way through the eastern New York mountains. So we've just had last few 10 miles. We've had a good taste of it. Had a good uphill climb, and then been up and down. Gonna be that way most of the way. Talk to you in 10. All right, about 30 miles outside of Amsterdam now. Still on these these country roads. This one doesn't even have a number. It's just Knapp Road that turned into Joyce Road. Here in New York hilly country. There's the sport van. Just really beautiful up here. Nice and quiet. So yeah, temperature is good. Probably low 60s right now. Not hardly any wind. Clouds are breaking up. Looks like it's going to be a good day. Talk to you in 10. About 40 miles east of Amsterdam now. We're in this little town. I think it's called Schotschikook, something like that. Started sprinkling lightly. Hope that's all it does. I got about another 27 miles. Talk to you in 10. All right, 50 miles from Amsterdam now. I said we're on country roads. They keep getting more and more country. We're actually on a hard-packed dirt road right now. Border is still about 10 miles away, border of Vermont. So this is very, very eastern New York. Sport van there. So you can see those mountains in the distance here. I believe those are the Vermont mountains, which we're going to have the pleasure of going over next couple days. All right, so talk to you in 10. All right, about 60 miles outside of Amsterdam now. We're maybe a half mile from the Vermont border. Had a little detour back there, so somewhere between 7 and 9 miles to go. Some small little community here just on this side of the New York-Vermont border. Sprinkled a little bit back there, threatened to rain a little bit, but wasn't too bad. Temps still around 60, so really good. So that, I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, about 10 miles outside of Bennington now. We're on Vermont 9. I think about 3/4 of the way through a 1,500-foot ascent. Been since about 4 miles out, just steady uphill. There's the van. And it's been really neat. I'm going to walk over here and you can kind of see this brook that we've been following all along. Really kind of peaceful. So by the next one I should be on kind of the flats between the mountains of West Vermont and the mountains of East Vermont. I will talk to you in 10. All right, 20 miles outside of Bennington. Still on Vermont 9. Just had a really fun downhill. Made it up to about 45 miles an hour. It was about a 2-mile, really steep. Unfortunately, we're going to have to reclimb that on the other side, but it was fun while it lasted. We have another brook down here, if you can see it. It's one going the other direction now that we're on the other side of the peak. So anyway, that's it. Talk to you in 10. Okay, about 32 miles outside of Bennington now. We're still on Vermont 9. Just had some really gnarly downhills, got up to about 55 miles an hour back that way. So we've got another couple downhills. Ron's riding with us. He's keeping up the speed. Right, Ron? Good ride. Yeah.
Fun.
We got Sienna and Scott over there, some friends of ours from Vermont who came to cheer us on. Temperature is still great, no rain. I'll check in with you in 10. About 40 miles east of Bennington now. We're in the town of West Brattleboro. About 4 miles to our destination. So it was a good and fun day overall. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay, about 10 miles east of Brattleboro. We're here in New Hampshire now, of course. That was right over the river from Brattleboro. Along New Hampshire Highway 9 now. Gonna take this as far as Keene. Ron's riding with me all day today. Weather's good. It's mid, upper 60s. Sun's trying to shine. Should be a beautiful day. Just got a lot of hills ahead of us. Talk to you in 10. 20 miles east of Brattleboro now. We're just short of the city of Keene, New Hampshire. Looks to be a bigger town than I thought it was. I see they got a Target here. Ron's riding still with us. Great to have him along. Looks very idyllic here. So anyway, catch you in 10. About 30 miles outside of Brattleboro. We're now on New Hampshire 101 heading east. We're at the Howe Reservoir, a little short of Dublin, well past Keene. Got some woods around here, so yeah, really scenic here, but lots of traffic on this road. Talk to you in 10. 40 miles east of Brattleboro, here on a little city road on the north side of Peterborough, New Hampshire. Just nice, green. Ron's waiting for me. Little brook down here. Yeah, just really nice. It's probably going to be the last one for a day. I think we only have about 7 more miles, so talk to you tomorrow. 10 miles east of Greenfield on New Hampshire Highway 136. I think we're just a little short of the town of New Boston. Just beautiful, kind of hilly riding today. Really green. I think there's a little wind out there, but with all these trees around here, you can't feel it at all. Shoulders, roads are not good. Almost non-existent shoulders. But the drivers seem to be pretty good so far. Anyway, talk to you in 10. All right, 20 miles outside of Greenfield now, here in the western outskirts of Manchester. Little park area here, whole bunch of baseball teams playing today, a little kids league, really nice. So I've been on the road here on the highway, but going to take this trail here right now and take that pretty much all the way into town. Normally, we were only slated for 26 miles, so normally this would have been the last one, but I think I'm going to try and bite off about 20 miles of Monday's ride to make that more palatable, pull it down from 75 to 55. So I'll see you in 10. All right, 30 miles outside of Greenfield, 5 miles past central Manchester. We're on the eastern side of Manchester now. If you look way down there, you can see a trail. We're going to start taking a trail. It goes quite a ways. We just got off this road here. So as you can see, we're still in kind of the urban area. Should be getting out of this fairly soon. So that trail goes on for a way. I'll catch you at 10. I'll probably still be on the trail. Okay, about 40 miles outside of Greenfield, about 15 miles outside of Manchester. We're here on the Rockingham recreational trail. I believe it's an old rail to trail type, so nice and level most of the way. Also have a little running stream over here, if you can see that. Started off really primitive, then got a lot better, and now it's kind of settled into this kind of old dirt road type setting. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go further than another 5, maybe 10 or 15, so maybe I'll see you in 10, maybe tomorrow. About 50 miles east of Greenfield, about 25 miles east of Manchester now, nearing Epping. I think this trail only goes on for another mile or two. It's definitely getting more primitive again, more narrow, less used, but still pretty nice. This whole trail, I've been on it for about 20 miles now. Except for the beginning and it looks like the end, it's been a really nice trail. This may be it for today. If so, talk to you tomorrow. All right, about 40 miles outside of Manchester, 10 miles from where we started today. It's been really beautiful, canopied roads. This is not the best, most scenic location with these power lines right here. Just happened to be where good place to stop to get this recording, but it's been really good. This is New Hampshire 155 north. So check with you in 10. All right, 50 miles east of Manchester, 20 miles from where we started today. Getting close to the Maine border. It's about 5 miles away or so. And spot link van, of course, just nice plains, or nice rolling hills out here. So that's it, great weather, slight tailwind, 7 miles an hour or so, and temperatures probably high 60s. So talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles east of Manchester now. We've been following US Bike Route 1 on and off. Now we're kind of on a country road. About 15 miles to go to Kennebunkport. Just nice trees around. Stopped a little place here and that's Mike Klaus there. He's joining us today, guest rider. He's also, as I said, going to be our morning mingle tomorrow. Still, it's just beautiful riding today. Great day to ride. Talk to you in 10. Hi everyone. If you've been following since the beginning of the ride, when I started going east from Chula Vista, I had the Pacific in the background, saying it'd be about 3,800 till I saw an ocean again. There it is, the Atlantic Ocean, about 3,800 miles out. So there goes Ron, get his first taste of the Atlantic. Yeah, got about 300 miles left. Should be a fun 300. Thanks everyone who's followed us this far. Follow us the next 6 days till we get to St. Stephen. Talk to you later. About 70 miles outside of Manchester, 40 miles from where we started today. We're right next to the coast here. We're actually kind of going back inland. We're driving right along the coast there. First time to see the Atlantic Ocean. So can't really see it from here. I'm sure I'll take some more videos tomorrow. We're going to be hugging the coast for a while. So that's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Kennebunkport, or kind of easterly. We're using a Strava route, custom crafted by Mike Klaus, our morning mingle this morning. Thanks, Mike. So he gave us kind of a more scenic route. So took it along the coast, now going a little inland, heading up towards Portland, Maine, and then Brunswick, Maine for our destination tonight. Talk to you in 10. Okay, about 20 miles east of Kennebunkport now. We're back on a rail trail. This is the Eastern Trail. It's nice and wooded around it. We're still kind of in a semi-rural area. You can see some houses over there. There's a road off. There's a crossroad up ahead that we keep coming across. So still not out in the, back out in the country. So talk to you in 10. About 30 miles northeast of Kennebunkport. Here on the Gateway Greenway, it's a trail that they say goes from Maine to Florida. This part's paved. It's a little south of Portland. I'll be in Portland here really soon, actually when I come out of this trail. So gonna meet up with the guest rider there. Maybe I'll do a special one of these to include him. Anyway, talk to you in 10. 40 miles outside of Kennebunkport. We're a little north of Portland, Maine now, on US Bike Route 1, Maine Highway 88. It's kind of getting into the semi-rural suburbs. Just cruising along, another 20 miles to go. Talk to you in 10. About 50 miles outside of Kennebunkport now. We're coming up on the town of Freeport. Ron's riding with me now. I just got some nice trees as we've had for the last few days. Campground right down there. So we're just gonna keep heading up that road. I'll talk to you in 10. Should also be the end of the road. All right, about 60 miles outside of Kennebunkport now. It's only about 3 miles to Brunswick. Should just be over that hill there. I'm so through with these hills today. But nice countryside out here. Ron's still riding with me. And yeah, cooling down a little bit. There's a front coming through, as you can probably see from the clouds. Good chance of rain tomorrow. See how it goes. Talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles northeast of Brunswick. We're here on US 101. I'm going to pretty much take that all the way up to Augusta. See a little cemetery up there. There's an interesting little story about those. Those are all around the state here, little ones, and they're by law preserved as historic sites, and the local town must maintain them. So you just see them everywhere, and they're all in pretty good shape. So short ride today, 36 miles, do a couple more of these. Talk to you in 10. 20 miles northeast of Brunswick now, still on 201. So you got a great view up here. Unfortunately, it's a little obscured by this construction site, but I guess workers like good views too. We get a good one over that way too. It's a semi-rural setting, as we've often had. Got about another 16 miles to Augusta. So talk to you in 10. 30 miles outside of Brunswick. Getting on the outskirts of Augusta now. Still on Highway 201, going US 201. So we're also next to this river here. Nice, very scenic. Looks like you can see the state capitol in the distance there. be going near there for our morning mingle tomorrow morning. And that's about it. We only got about 3 miles to our destination. So I guess we'll talk to you tomorrow. About 10 miles east of Augusta, here on US Highway 202, heading towards Belfast. We'll have to cut over on Maine State 3 to actually get to Belfast. But it was supposed to be raining this morning. Rained a little bit on our way to the museum this morning. But after that, nothing. I think we're going to be clear the rest of the day. So just damp. It's probably around 60 degrees, low 60s. Talk to you in 10. 20 miles east of Augusta now. We're now on Maine Highway 3 going into Belfast. Split off from the 202 a little bit ago. Just more beautiful country out here. Now up to 63. Slight headwind, not much here in this valley with the trees, but when I get up high and the trees aren't around. Talk to you in 10. Hey, 30 miles east of Augusta. It's still here on Maine Highway 3, right near St. George Lake. Gonna see it here in just a second. Right down there. We have a nice little park here too, state campground. And tour bus, RV. Yeah, weather's holding out. Still got about 20 miles to Belfast. Talk to you in 10. 40 miles east of Augusta. Stopped for a little lunch here at this Dollar General store right outside of, just a little west of Belfast. Got about 8 miles or so to go till Belfast. Probably going to keep riding, so I'll probably talk to you in 10. All right, 50 miles east of Augusta. We're here in Belfast. This 50 miles, so that's actually also the hotel we're staying in tonight. So just getting a good look at the city. I'm going to keep going. So going to try and knock out another 10 or 20 miles, so I'll talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles past Augusta, 10 miles past Belfast. We're here on US 1. Just heading towards Millbridge, which is quite a ways up. We're only going to part of it today. Just eating up some of tomorrow's mileage today, since tomorrow was supposed to be a long day. Weather's just excellent. Probably about 70 degrees now. Slight headwind, a few miles an hour, and just an excellent day to ride. Talk to you in 10. Okay, 70 miles past Augusta and 20 miles past Belfast. Still, we're on Highway 1 going north. It still stayed quite residential throughout that. Kind of surprising. I thought it'd get a little more rural by now. Anyway, don't know if I'm going to make another 10 or not. So maybe 10, maybe tomorrow. 30 miles out of Belfast, 5 miles from where we started today. We're here back on US Highway 1, heading up to Millbridge. Belfast was actually, I think, the last significantly sized city on the northern side of Maine. So it's going to be really small towns from here on out. But we only have this and 2 more riding days left to make it to Canada. So anyway, really beautiful day today. I'll talk to you in 10. Okay, 40 miles east of Belfast, about 25 miles still to Millbridge. Here on US 1, so you can kind of see just how beautiful everything is around here. We keep getting glimpses of the ocean, but it hasn't been staying around. There's Mike Bell, he's back with us today. So just really forested around here, a lot of birch trees, I think. So that's it for now. Talk to you in 10. All right, 50 miles outside of Belfast, still along US 1. Facing a little bit of a headwind. Just more beautiful territory out here. Have Mike and Ron riding with me now. It's great to have them along. Those hills you see in the distance actually, I believe, are out in the ocean. So that's about it. Got about 17 miles to go, so talk to you in 10. All right, 60 miles outside of Belfast. We have Mike and Ron up there, still riding along. Gonna ride all the way into Millbridge. Got about 7 more miles. So still on Highway 1. Got to be probably low 70s now, but we still got a good headwind of about, I don't know, 5 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour. But not bad. It's a beautiful day overall. So that's it for today. I will talk to you tomorrow. Hey, 10 miles outside of Millbridge, heading up towards Dennisville. We're on Highway 1 again. We're on one alternate for a while. Did a little side road, spot link van over there. Just outside of Columbia, I think. So Mike's on the bike with me. Nice weather today, mostly sunny, yeah. And yeah, nice and warm. Talk to you in 10. Hey, 20 miles out of Millbridge. Still on US 1. We're gonna have to take a little detour a little bit up ahead. There's Mike, and there's the van. Apparently the road between just beyond Jonesboro is under construction, so we're gonna go by Whitney. Adds a couple miles to the route, but shouldn't be too bad. Talk to you in 10. 30 miles east of Millbridge, northeast, on Highway 1A now. Went through Whitneyville to avoid some work they're doing on, both Ron and Mike are with us now. Some work they're doing on 1A1 below us that has it torn up in dirt road. So we're almost back on the main route now. Going to take some of the Skyway Trail on our ways up to Dennisville, which is about another 20 miles. Talk to you in 10. 40 miles northeast of Millbridge, here on the 191 North, Maine Highway 191. Really beautiful views up here. Can't really get a perspective of it on camera, but it just looks vast and untamed, undeveloped, natural. So anyway, that's it. We got about 15 more miles, so talk to you in 10. All right, 50 miles outside of Millbridge. We're now on State Route 86 going east, headed towards Dennisville. There's Mike.
Hanging in there.
Laura, and Ron's going to, you probably know. Yeah, it's still just beautiful country up here, rolling hills. No hills that we haven't been able to conquer yet, although getting a little tired after 50 miles. We have about 6 more, so looking forward to getting there. That's it for today. Talk to you tomorrow. No, actually, talk to you on Monday. This is where we're starting out from today. This is kind of the cabin we're staying at. Last couple days, Mike's in there getting suited up. Ron's riding with us. Our bikes, getting ready to about head out. Last ride of the last day. 83 days. Talk to you in 10 miles. About 10 miles north of Dennisville, now on US 1. Still got about 23 miles to go to Calais. There's Mike and Ron. We're both riding today for our grand entrance into St. Stephen. It's kind of an unusual house here, kind of quintessential Maine. Little bay in the background there. And yeah, just still cruising along. Really nice weather today. Probably in the mid 60s now. Little headwind, kind of comes and goes. But talk to you in 10. 20 miles north of Dennisville, still headed up towards St. Stephen. Still here on US 1. About 12 miles to go. I can run there. And there's the bay. The other side is Canada over there. So we'll be getting there soon, about 14 more miles. So anyway, talk to you in 10. 30 miles north of Dennisville, about 4 miles to Calais, or Calais, I'm sorry, that's how they pronounce it here. So this has been an incredible journey. I've been doing this since western Arizona, so should have a lot of these. There's Mike signing off and Ron up there. So thanks everyone. Hope you've enjoyed this America 10 miles at a time. I'll talk to you maybe sometime. Thank you for watching America 10 miles at a time. If you have any questions or want further information, please feel free to contact me at bchood@yahoo.com.